Hello and welcome to the Live Life Boldly online summit. I'm your host, Alex Turner, and I'm speaking to amazing, incredible women entrepreneurs and business owners from around the world. We're talking what it takes to run an online business and what having a freedom-based lifestyle really means. Everything from business, money, love, connecting, community, all of these things. And I'm really excited to talk to our guest today. We're talking about the theme of community. And just by way of introduction, as the founder of Ways of Change, the co-created fashion brand connecting refugees with global community, Cara Boccieri lives and works in the jungle on the Thailand-Burma border. Here today from the jungle to talk to us about co-creation, connection and love as a business model, it's my honour and my absolute delight to introduce you to Cara Boccieri. Cara, welcome to the summit.
Hi, thank you so much. Quite the introduction. I'm really excited to be here and be a part of this.
I'm so excited to have you. And yeah, you're definitely winning with the tropical location. Tell us a bit about where you are right now.
I'm in my home and office. I'm on the Thailand-Burma border, and it's quite jungly, and I love it. Yeah, and this is where I live. I'm sitting exactly where I would normally be sitting to be doing some work on my computer.
And how long have you been in Thailand?
I've lived in Thailand on and off for 10 years. I've lived up here in the jungle for 3 years.
Amazing. So tell us a bit more about what you're doing up there.
Well, I've founded a co-created fashion brand called Ways of Change. And here I co-create with refugee communities who live in camps and refugee villages out here in the jungle. A few years ago, I was a researcher. I was carrying out research on a holistic approach to refugee settlements and a way of moving away from a deficit model of humanitarian aid. And I was carrying out that research in refugee camps in the Thailand-Burma border here. And I was constantly hearing from people that we want to focus on our traditional skills. We have skills and we don't have access to a marketplace. Can we create something together? And my response was, of course, yes, let's create something together. And in that way, it was absolutely a co-creation from the beginning. People ask, where did you get this idea? And I say, I didn't come up with this idea. This is absolutely a co-creation from the beginning.
Amazing. So what, in terms of the size of the community that you're working in, give us a bit of a feel for the context and behind what goes into Ways of Change.
It's almost difficult to define the actual reach because we also implement or work on community projects with the funding from the sales of the products we sell. So those community projects, they reach definitely hundreds of people. Some of the communities that we work with are about 250 people in a kind of bamboo hut community here in the jungle. Another community that has only maybe 15 adults, but about 60 children living there. And I also work with a lot of women weavers in the camp. And the camp, has 15,000 people. Not to say that we are all impacting each other or all working together, but yes, some of the community projects can reach many people.
Yeah, and what kind of products are you talking about?
Well, when I started working together with the communities, it was, I didn't go in with a preconceived idea of products. It was a matter of what they're wanting to create. And so our first few collections have mainly focused on brass jewelry. So we work together to bring in the traditional skills and modern design. And we're using recycled brass often from the villages, and we are, we have artisans who learned these skills as children in Burma, and are working over fires, hammering jewelry flat out, and adding hand carved designs, and sometimes we're adding in some vintage upcycled chain from an abandoned warehouse in the US and putting these pieces together. So yeah, we've had a lot of jewelry so far. We're always working with the women who are weaving as well, and constantly working towards collections of woven products.
That's incredible. And I'm so curious, maybe you can say, maybe you can't say, who's designing the pieces?
The design is absolutely a co-creation. It is something that I don't believe would be possible without our relationship. It's something that has been born out of our connection, our respect, our place of equality that we stand on because we live and work together. I often speak about that. When I first arrived here, there's we couldn't create together. You don't just arrive somewhere and people are shy. There's maybe a lack of trust. There's just not a confidence. A lot of the work that we've done over the past several years is that of working on valuing ourselves, valuing our skills, and that allowing people, the women I work with, to come forward with ideas. And it's taken years, and now the creations that we come up with are absolutely born out of this relationship, and it wouldn't be possible without it. These earrings that I don't know if you can see that I'm wearing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this was a woman who a few years ago would not have spoken up, and we were having a design workshop on her front porch with her husband, and she walked in and said, "No, those earrings are too big. Brass is heavy. Like, some women like a nice delicate earring," and named them after her. And these are these earrings, and but it's absolutely the creations are coming out of this way that we work and relate together.
Amazing. So this isn't just making jewelry and selling to a global community. This is about personal development of everybody that's involved. You, the communities that you're working in. It's such a beautiful project. The more I hear about it as well, the more I fall in love with this and the brand and everything that you're doing.
Thank
you. And so in terms of, I'm just interested in how the community works together as well. Are you speaking English or Thai or Burmese, or how does that work?
All of the above. I do speak Thai. Not all the members of the community speak Thai because, of course, they've come from Burma. I do speak enough Cayenne, which is a very specific ethnic language that not many people in the world speak. And my Burmese is questionable, but it often is a really fun mix. If you're to watch our meetings and our interactions, it is, it might start in Cayenne, and then it might become a mix of Cayenne and Thai, because my Thai is much better. And there is always someone who can maybe interpret a little if we need to switch to English. But it's definitely something to see.
Amazing. And so let's talk a little bit about the online aspect as well. How long have you had, well, I presume you're selling from a website, or?
Yes, yeah. And that we have an online platform, bywaysofchange.com, and that was part of the project from the beginning. These people were saying we don't have access to a marketplace. In their mind, they were more so thinking of a local marketplace, but of course I was able to add that value and say, okay, well, let's do an online marketplace. So we and that's sort of the side of things that maybe I'm able to provide, that I bring to this co-creation, is that I have access to the internet, which most people do not have. And we've created a website where we put the products on, and work towards connecting these pieces, connected to, of course, the story of these people's experiences, and as skilled artisans, that story as well, and bringing them to a global community.
Such a terrific partnership then, the skills that you bring, the skills that the women have. And so when you're buying a piece of jewelry, you're not just buying your earrings, you're buying, and you're supporting this community. Everything's going into maintaining that culture and promoting it as well. So it's bringing that out into the world.
Absolutely. And as well, it's always, for me, important to mention that it's a mutually empowering relationship. Of course, excuse me. Of course, yes, you're providing income, you're supporting traditional skills when you buy these pieces, but as well, these artisans using their traditional skills, spending years learning these skills, and then working together with me, this, outsider who's come in saying, let's do this, working together with me to provide pieces that you can be proud to wear and to share the story of. Sometimes it's difficult to find ethically produced, sustainably produced products. And I do believe that these artisans are empowering, you by providing these products, by sharing their skills, sharing their stories, and being a part of this. Absolutely a mutually empowering operation.
So as well as a business, it's a social enterprise. So the intention is to provide an income for you and for the community. I wondered if you could speak to some of the challenges that model might pose, or that you faced.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. As a business, of course, sustainability is always important. But I think even more so for us, part of this business is also working towards self-reliance for these communities who previously didn't have self-reliance, and it's something that they want. So using business as a model of showing, hey, you can create your own income. You don't need to be dependent on outside donors and NGOs. So really sort of proving that to them, and then proving that to themselves, that they can be self-reliant, they have valuable skills, and that business can serve them in this way. And so, that's a huge part of it. And then, of course, which brings, sustainability to the forefront. And, I didn't have a grant or donations, and that was important for me, because it's all about this sustainability and self-reliant model. So of course, getting a business off the ground is not always sustainable in all aspects from the beginning, and so we're always working towards that. And it is kind of, as well, every day, part of showing these communities that we can do this on our own.
Yeah, I love that. And I love the idea that it's not even an idea, this is what we're talking about. And a lot of women I know, a lot of people I know around the world, we have this desire to be supportive and philanthropic. So one of the ways that you can do that is donate to charity. You can tick that box that you're supporting a cause. But another way to do it is to buy from, to consciously choose how you spend your money, and to invest your resources in businesses like the model that you've got, which I think is just incredible. It does make me question, next time I go to buy a piece of jewellery, I'll definitely be bearing this in mind. And let's talk about the practicality as well of living in the jungle. Do you have access to, normal, I don't even know how to what is normal And how far away are you from the nearest big town or nearest city?
Um, about a 30-minute drive,
Okay.
but it's also, I have a bicycle, and I'm in, yeah, about 20-30 minutes to commute to the nearest. It's a small town. For the past few years, I was living in a bamboo hut in the jungle with no electricity or water or anything like this. Currently, I have, in order to be able to have support, to have volunteers and interns and people come stay with me, I have a little bit of more space now. And I do have internet, electricity, and running water here.
Everything
Um,
you need.
it's really, it seems quite abundant to me. And yesterday the electricity and internet and water all turned off. And when you're used to living without it, I said, I went, there's a river right here. I'm not so concerned. I have a bucket and I have a river. So I'm pretty used to not needing these things.
There's a huge amount of resilience there in that, because not everybody can live like this. It's
That's true.
challenging.
Um, but it's not to say that I'm making any sacrifices. I absolutely
Mm.
choose this lifestyle. I love it. I love living in the jungle. I love eating mangoes and bananas off the trees. I do. I love this hot weather, and this is absolutely a choice. I'm not a martyr who is here sacrificing and helping communities. I feel honored to co-create with these communities, to learn with them about their culture and their skills. And I love living in the jungle. And that's absolutely not for everyone, but making conscious choices about what environment is right for us allows us to create. And as well, a lot of the creativity that I bring to the design of the products and things. I was not always necessarily a designer or a creative person, um, but being in the jungle, connecting with the jungle, connecting with myself, connecting with these women has brought out some creativity in this way. And for me, the jungle is a part of that.
Amazing. And so, like the creativity and the lifestyle, I was wondering if you had any practices or daily rituals or things that you do daily to tap into that creativity, to get more in touch with nature.
Absolutely. I do. I meditate. I do yoga, and I spend time in the jungle, hiking, meditating, dancing at the top of a mountain. Um, but absolutely, even just taking that time, whether it's through meditation, which I do every day, um, to connect with myself and with my surroundings. It's that time and energy focused on yourself and your surroundings that has allowed for a lot of connection, a lot of awareness, a lot of about my needs, and has allowed that creativity to flow within me. Absolutely. There's I can't say enough about spending time and energy with yourself.
Yeah, yeah. And I think in day-to-day life, it's quite difficult to take time out. And I love that you're immersed in the jungle and that you have it's all around you. It's almost inescapable. And still to take that time, it's so important. And it's something that's I'm really interested in, and it's coming up a lot in the women that I'm speaking to. We all have a practice or a ritual or some kind of routine that involves that, cultivating that awareness. I'm curious, the women that you're working with, do they have anything similar? Do they have a practice? Or do you
That's a
share it?
great question. The women that I work with, they are weaving
Mm.
all day, every day. And you can see it in them. Like, this is they have a space, they have a special space where they sit and they weave. And this is a huge part of their identity, their creation, their creative energy that they get, are, you know, constantly creating the clothing for their families, their income for their families. They are, and you know, excuse me, yeah, they are weaving often, all day, and they really, yeah, they have created this space that is just for them to sit and ground. You know, they're on the ground, and they have it's backstrap weaving, so they put this around their back, and it's very complicated skill. It is not easy, and so when you see the dedication and the focus that goes into that, I absolutely would consider that a very creative practice.
Yeah, incredible. And so the future vision for Byways of Change, what does that look like in, say, in an ideal world or in this world?
Yeah. Sustainability of this business is a hugely important aspect. And of course, what I find so important is the way that we work together. You know, this idea of co-creation as opposed to a very deficit-focused model of humanitarian aid. You know, my background is in, you know, international peace and conflict resolution, working with communities affected by conflict and migration, you know, community development theory and all these things. And coming from this place and with experience in doing research in refugee camps and with experience working for huge international organizations and writing policy and advocacy, with all of these experiences, I am coming and, you know, having this current experience and saying that this way of working, this way of creating together, absolutely from a place of equality, from a place where I enter these communities in absolute awe of them. It's never from a power imbalance of pitying people, of saying, okay, like, I've come in and, you know, you need my aid, you know, this power imbalance. And this way of working, I see such value in. I see absolute positive change that communities want to see in themselves. And so in experiencing this, I absolutely hope to, as this becomes sustainable, first of all, it's important that I want to work myself out of a job. I want you know, these communities running this themselves, and I would love to continue to work with other communities around the world, and be working in this way. I see such value. It's, you know, it's this love-based model of working, and it also goes into our love-based model of business. You know, it's the, so yes, this, absolutely growth in that sense, you know, continuing to work with communities around the world in this very specific way is absolutely part of the vision.
It's an incredible vision. What an incredible vision. And so you have a global reach, right? Is that my understanding? It's all around the world. You can ship to, you can work with.
Absolutely. We ship around the world, and with my background being very international, yeah, our reach, our network, you know, my family and friends are all over the world. So yes, that was always that was always going to be a reach that we would have. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's generating quite a lot of interest from what I hear, from what you say, and the things that we've talked about in our meetings. People they want to know what you're doing. They want to come in. They want to help. So there's a huge amount going on aside from the creating and the business element. There's a huge amount of interest as well.
Yes. Last year, we had a Dutch, very famous travel show come and did a little documentary about myself and the work that I do and the way that I live, and mostly focusing actually on the choices that I've made. Um,
Mm.
and so that was very big in the Netherlands, and I just spent a few months in Europe, traveling and presenting at yes, sustainable, ethical fashion weeks, fashion events about this way of working, of co-creating together. And it was interesting because I'm at these fashion events, and but of course I'm bringing it back in the end. I'm talking about this way of creating together, relevant to the fashion community, but in the and bringing it back to actually the in this time of unprecedented forced migration. I encourage people to open their minds, open their hearts, and create something together. So that was really amazing and relevant for me, and yeah, it was
And
fun to be in
yeah,
Europe. And, yeah.
fun to get the message out as well, I can
Mm.
imagine.
Yes,
And what,
I did. I felt very heard
mm,
from the interview, from the interest. Yeah.
yeah, it's a message that I heard loud and clear. And it's just so inspiring. I wondered, what do you see as the opportunities for these kind of models on a, in a global setting, or this is a local, this starts off as a local relationship, right? And it grows as much as you've got the vision for it, I guess. I
Hmm.
wondered where else you might see opportunities.
Sorry, where else to see opportunities to grow or
To do
to
to let's see, to what's my question? Other communities or other projects. So just, necessarily making jewelry, there could be other projects, other skills,
Mhm.
other ways of co-creating. And I wondered if you had any thoughts on that.
Gotcha. Um, yes. Well, the way that I work and the way that I've lived my entire life has been definitely very intuitive.
Mm.
Trusting the space, trusting the people, not so much planning. It happens, and I'm doing research, and they say, "Hey, let's create something together," and I say, "Yeah, sure." So, yeah, without too much planning, I do believe that a project will grow, will happen. Um, but sure, and my focus is working with refugee communities, and that is um, very specifically because of the values that I've come across in refugee communities. People who have actively left, hatred, dominance, fear, and actively sought peace and positive change in their lives, and that's something that resonated with me. But as well, because refugees um, will have a far reach in the future. People are the ones who go and rebuild their previously war-torn country. They're resettled in third countries. They're locally integrated. So also that bit of strategicness, this far reach in working with refugee communities, because the projects that we do are around sustainable living, things like this. So
Mm.
so that reach. But so I do focus on working often with refugee communities. The other day I watched a video about women in Kenya who consider themselves refugees from men, and they have created just women communities, and so of course that caught my attention. Things like this, and of course there is mass migration right now, and I when I was in Europe was also doing research on this and on the reception and on this idea of a love and value based reception, because I do believe there's a lot of fear, and that refugee context is just riddled with political fear, and we're looking at this as a problem, as opposed to just, hey, these people are coming to our country and receiving them with love and respect and value. So there is a mass migration at this point in time. So of course, there's a lot of communities that perhaps would be interested in working together. But of course, over the years, yes, certain skills, certain communities that catch my eye. Sure.
And this is the definition of a passion project. This is like a long-term, long view mission that you have.
Yeah, sure. I'd say that, yeah, and the word you use, passion, yeah, whereas I'd say that it's my life and my work and my values, they are one.
Yeah.
So, and I guess that to me resonates with the word passion project, right? Is that the definition of it? That there's not a separation so much. My business is founded on the same values that I live my everyday life by, and in that way, yes, it is, that passion kind of grows out of it, and in that way, I don't have a huge separation between work and life. But for me, this is not a negative thing. This is absolutely positive, and I'm loving everything I'm doing. Even every email I'm responding to is exciting for me, and it aligns with my life and my passions and my values. So there is a very much intertwined lifestyle here.
Yeah. And if you were to sum up those values in a few words, what would they be?
It's living from a place of love, and connection. Trusting that connection, that oneness, and that's my choices, my decisions. Everything is based on this knowledge that I know is very real for me.
Yeah. And I guess through, well, what it sounds like, through your daily practice, your rituals, you're tapping into that. That's you're topping up on that connection.
Absolutely. And a huge part of that, it's that love, that connection. It's with everyone and everywhere and everything around me. But of course, a huge part of that is also that self-love, that connecting with myself, trusting myself, my wisdom, I follow every day when I'm working with people, when I'm working on my computer. It's about also valuing myself, and feeling into my body, into my cycle, into I'm not really pushing myself. So it's this very can I call it intuitive living of saying, actually I'm really tired today, so this is what I'm going to do today, or I really need to go dance in the mountains today. And and guiding my life and the business through this connection with myself.
And can I just say, we all need to go and dance in the mountains more. And so one of the things as well that I'm noticing with the work that you're doing, these businesses, these success stories, these projects, they don't happen overnight. So, and that's why a passion project is important, because you can't just come in, land, fix everything, and then move on to another project. This is something that you deeply care about and you're committed to, and that's all wrapped up in your values as well, and in your whole mission.
Mm. Absolutely. And I think especially because I'm working with people and communities, a huge part of this, co-creation model is that it's based on our relationship. Our time spent together is literally
Mm.
part of
Yeah.
the model. Absolutely. So, yes. And I think I went into this project, not with expectations, but absolutely knowing that this is going to take maybe years before it's sustainable or before it's successful or um, but um, what was I going to say? um, yeah, I don't remember.
No, I hear you though. It's a long-term plan, if you like, or not necessarily. Plan might be the wrong word, but it's a long game. It just
Mm,
doesn't. It takes work. It takes dedication. It takes
mm.
nurturing those relationships.
Absolutely. And like you said, that's a huge part of this model, even. What I was going to say was that also, because I have kind of chosen to live in the jungle, and of course, it's also a huge part. So I wouldn't be having these relationships or this business without being here. But yeah, I'm not, living in the US. I therefore do not have the costs associated
Mm.
with a lifestyle there. So being able to live on very minimal costs while just dedicating all of my time and life and energy to this project, which again is I love every second of it. So it's not like, oh, you have to go live in the jungle to start your project, but it's worth mentioning that it has it's created freedom for me in that way. This is not a side project. It's my everyday life.
Yeah.
And there's also a certain amount of freedom that has come with, not having to work a 9 to 5 and do this on the side. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that to me again, like we talked about it earlier, a passion project that like you are living your values, living your dream, living your mission. And it's just there's so much integrity there. It's
Mm.
phenomenal. What an inspiration. So where can people find out more about what you're doing?
On our website is www.bywaysofchange.com. And there is the shop for all of the products, and as well there's all of the community projects that we've been a part of. There is all of and our values are all over the website. You can read about the entrepreneurial training, the natural building. You can watch videos of our artisans about where they have learned these skills and see videos of them making these products by hand over a fire. Yeah, so that's all on the website. Yeah.
Amazing. Everybody needs to just go and pour over that website, get in touch, learn more. And do you have an offer that you're wanting to share with our audience today?
Absolutely. And I thought I'd use your name so we could do. I thought that was a nice, easy. Can we all remember Alex? So let's use Alex15. If you use this discount code on our website during the next month, you'll get a 15% discount on any of the handmade products.
That's so generous.
I hope to see you all there on the website.
Yeah.
It's I found that since I was in Europe and in the US the past few months of this summer, what I found was, for me, seeing the marketing, the advertising, all of this was a bit shocking. Actually,
Mm.
I'm here. I'm not a part of this. I'm not seeing it. And what I slowly was reflecting on, beginning to realize, was that in creating this business and working from this model of business based on respect and love and connection with the people I work with, but also I'm not engaging in these types of fear-based marketing, right? So what I've actually found is that I'm really calling on people to challenge themselves, to really step outside of all of that external creation of desire that we see all day, every day, on the TV, on the social media, on the billboards, walking down the streets. That it's creating this external creation, and I'm actually really calling on people quite a bit. It's a big challenge, to actually get in touch with yourself, know your own desires, know your values, and making decisions about what we're buying, what we're impacting from this place. So I'm realizing that this is a big call for people to do, and that I'm just slowly realizing that this is actually what I'm asking of people when I'm hoping that they look at our website and maybe make a purchase from our website. It's actually quite a big call. So yeah,
it's a huge call, but a really important one. And I'm going to just call it love-based marketing as opposed to fear-based marketing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, I love it.
Well, everybody go and check out Cara Boccieri. Go and have a look at the website. Go and use that discount code. We're not promoting mass consumerism, but we, in the lead up to Christmas, this is a great time to invest in amazing pieces of jewellery from such an incredible cause. So, Cara, thank you so much for your time. It's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you today, and thank you so much for being part of the summit. Thank you.
Thank you so much. This has been excellent. I really appreciate being a part of it.
Okay. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.